In today's technology world, that information could very easily be accessible by use of a website or a platform.
The most complex purchase that anybody ever makes in their life, building a new home.
Yep.
That is very true.
And there is nada until now.
I was like, really? She said, well, I stuck my head in and I asked you if you were done. I can't hear anything outside these headphones. And I guess I said yes to one of your questions. So she's okay. She let the baby ride. Yeah.
Mr. Ron telling me about the need for the technology that he developed, because it's
good stuff.
Yeah. Mr. Ron, please continue.
Yeah, please continue. So you had basically an offended real estate agent company who thought they had the answers, and turns out they did not, and you're revealing it.
Well, and we, we found this. If it was a one-off thing, you'd think, well, that's just,
right.
But it's, I was just telling Sean, so we found this in Chicago and Indianapolis and the Quad Cities and St. Louis and big and small cities.
Right.
One time we were down in Nashville, and Paul, it's like, well, we're here. It's kind of become our thing where we want to find out who's building and what's building, and so I stop into a realtor office and it's like, where's the new construction going? I know there's lots of home building in Nashville.
Yes.
And the guy says, just get in your car and drive around Nashville. Which part? The whole thing. Drive around. You're talking about 200 miles probably. Drive around the metro of Nashville. You want to go up to Clarksville and down to Franklin and, all these places, and you'll eventually run into it. And, you have that happen enough times and you start going, this is like messed up. This is like fundamentally broken from
Yes. In today's technology world, that information could very easily be accessible by use of a website or a platform. And I can't believe no one else has done this yet. Truthfully, you're pioneering something that it should be part of the norm.
Well, if you think about it too, it's like, shoot, if I wanted to buy tennis shoes this weekend, I can go onto one website and see everything.
Absolutely.
Which one? Zappos has all the shoes.
Zappos, yes. We ordered several sets for our daughter.
If I wanted to buy movie tickets and fly down and grab you guys and go to a show next week, I could go to Fandango. I can find every movie ticket in the country, every movie that's showing. If I want to buy a new car, there's probably 30 or 40 websites where you can buy a off the shelf, or you could customize it. The most complex purchase that anybody ever makes in their life, building a new home.
Yep.
That is very true.
There is nada until now.
Nothing. So you need to be able to build use a database. You need to build in this database the availability of properties and the criteria that it meets, and the prospective home buyer would be able to go to Hoodle.com, enter their criteria into that particular area especially, and know what's available for building so they can explore the options from there. And there's no other way to find out other than that. And I think that to me, realtors should be your number one client. Realtors need to know this stuff so they can provide that information. If they're without that information and it's their job, it's in their job description to provide it, they need it.
The realtors love it.
I can definitely see why they would.
Yeah. And it's been interesting as we've started to open this up, so a year ago we started opening up outside of our local area a year and a half ago, and now it's starting to explode all over the United States. Yeah. And the realtors are going, every place we go, people are like, it's worse here. Whatever you said it was in your video, it's worse here.
Yeah.
And where they can't find the builders, they can find the production builders, but they can't find the custom builders and the semi-custom builders.
Right.
And they don't, and it's a very complex process for everybody. And so we're making it easy for somebody to build a house.
Yeah. So your database entry can be done by the realtor, it seems like. Is that true? So the realtor will be able to locate these properties and add them to the database, which will make it available to the home buyer?
So it's a user created content site. So, similar like you would add, a lot of people adding information on Facebook or on LinkedIn or on Airbnb. So a builder can join, a land developer, a realtor. Next up, we're adding a mortgage, and then it will continue on from there. So, if a buyer is, if Sean's wanting to build a house in some place, he needs to be able to simply find what are my options on all of these different things, and how do I compare them? Yes. When you got, even the realtors don't know who the mortgage people are. That's
right.
I mean, there in any given market, there's always only just 2 or 3 or handful that specialize in new construction. True. So you start seeing, man, this is very fragmented.
It is.
And it is very, very hard. Man, if I told you the stories of some of the people that we've run into, I mean, even zoning people that are going, can I tell you one?
Yes, absolutely. We're here to share stories.
So when we started it, I mean, when we really started going, okay, we got to get, figure this out. We started in our area, and we went, and we live in a small town, right? Yes. And we went to the zoning person who's over the subdivisions. She keeps track of the plats and the covenants and all this stuff. Okay. And sat down with her, and so and it took me a while to even find her, half dozen phone calls and chasing around and what department is she. Yep. So we find her, we set an appointment, we go in and see her. And I start saying, well, in our area, how many new home neighborhoods are there where somebody could build? She, well, I don't know. She said, nobody's ever asked me that. Let me think.
It'd be good to know.
What's that?
It'd be good for him to know.
You think, and I'm not picking on her. I mean, she's a great lady, but she said, well, I said, well, where do you have this stuff? She said, well, it's all down in the basement. It's some big file cabinets of the city building. And I said, well, how often do you have to access it? She said, a few times a day. Somebody's calling, wanting to know, can I build a shed? Can I put up a fence? What's the setback of the, all this stuff. And she said, so what are you going to do? I said, well, we're building this website where we're going to have basically everything related to home building in one place. Yes. City by city. And her mouth dropped open, almost hit the floor. She was just like, please. The rest of the time she's sitting with her mouth open. I'm like, are you okay? She's like, this happened to me. I said, what do you mean? She said, well, I was head of zoning for St. Louis for a lot of years. And then I moved here to Central Illinois. And she said, when we moved here, we wanted to build a house. So here's somebody who's in the thick of it. I mean, she's in the process, right? She said, we wanted to build a house. I went and found a realtor. She said, the realtor said, yep, here's your options, and showed me our options. She said, we went and bought a lot because these were all of our options. It wasn't really what we wanted, but we bought a lot to build the house on. She said, the day that they were out there getting ready to move the dirt, she said, I'll never forget. It was a Saturday. And she said, the bulldozers were out there. They're getting ready to start tearing up the dirt and laying the foundation. And she said, I didn't have anything to do. I went out garage sailing. And she said, I was driving around town. Oh, man. And all of a sudden she pulls into this neighborhood, and it was like the clouds parted and the angels sang, and she's like, this is where we're supposed to be. We
want to live here.
Not over there.
And that information was not available to her, she says. So she did not know.
And she went through a realtor, and the realtor didn't know it either.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You start hearing enough of these stories, and you're going, okay, we got to fix this.
You're right. Realtors need this. And like I said, I'm like you, I'm not knocking on real estate agents who did not know this because, it's not like they were being irresponsible. It's just they did not know that this information needs to be available. It needs to be especially readily available.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So they can much better do their job. If I'm a real estate agent, I'm looking for a website like this right here to help me gain, prospective client that I don't have already.
Right. Yeah. And for realtors, it's giving them the opportunity to connect with buyers and to build their brand very quickly online to a target audience of buyers. But also
they can get territorial on this thing too, couldn't they?
Yeah, it does. And they, it's giving them the ability to meet new builders and develop new clients with builders. But for builders, it's helping the builders to figure out which realtors actually are serious about new construction and who the buyers are. So just like connecting everybody together in every direction.
Oh man, that's cool. And you talk about making it better, changing the culture of real estate agents. This is a culture change for them because it gives them more power to serve the client better, for sure. And we live by that same mantra with Contractor Discover. We're trying to make performance better by use of platform. It causes you to up your game because you're going to be viewed. And so if we're making things better, I don't see any way that can be a bad thing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
being the layman out of the group and having no experience in the industry whatsoever, but wanting to possibly build a home, it seems like I would use both of you all's platforms. Ron, I would use yours to find the perfect place to build my wife's dream house, and Clay, I would use yours to watch the progress as the contractors and the subcontractors posted what they were doing as they were building said dream house. Am I correct?
Yeah, and to take that a step further is you would be involved critically in both processes, in both in both Hoodle and on Contractor Discover. Yeah, obviously once you have come together with your realtor and your builder and your mortgage lenders, I understand too. So you're ready to build. You start. You from that point, you just transition right into from one platform to the other and start building your home, and you're involved in that process critically as well. You can add content and monitor content on both platforms. That has to serve well.
We interviewed a lot of buyers, and I'm really fascinated by the buyer journey when it comes to building a new home.
Yeah,
it's just something that's been missed.
Oh yeah, it's a good story every time. Every project has a story.
And one of the things we kind of really came to the conclusion on is building a new house for a buyer is a life experience.
Yes.
It's like, it's like having a baby. You don't know. I remember the first time we had brought the kid home, it's like, where's the parents? Who's going to come and pick this guy up? But you don't know what you don't know. And it's terrifying. You got a big risk there.
Yeah.
It can be. And so, I started asking people when I started hearing that, I started talking to the buyers. I was like, hey, did you go, when you built your house, did you go out and visit? It's like every day, we're going out there every day. We're taking pictures, we're sharing it with mom and dad. We're, telling everybody about it. They're talking about it like you would a wedding, like you would having a child.
It's a major life event. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And see, I think about forward thinking too, where this is documented. You know how many questions get asked in years to come that you could not remember, but you can always retreat back to Hoodle, and every piece of the puzzle in the pre-administration is all there. Every question that you could probably answer or need answer to would be there. And the same way on, I guess, on Contractor Discover with the building, everything is documented. You have photographs of everything. I love rough-in photos for later use. You go back and you want to make a change, or you want to know where something was ran. It lives in the black box form on Contractor Discover. Everything you need to know about your home, start to finish, is there. And now knowing about Hoodle and how the whole process can be documented before you even start construction. Everything's there. Information, you're not expected to remember everything. We can only remember so much information, but if everything's documented, I mean, that's very valuable to someone building a home, or even commercial agencies building their businesses out. All this information that needs to be there. We have the technology to do this. Why are we not utilizing it? I ask that question all the time.